Hey there, I'm Mike. Today I'm going to show you how to properly adjust the proportionate controls on a Scanreco wireless remote control system. If your Elliott model has a Scanreco G2B wireless remote system installed, the steps in this video are going to help you. Before we get started, make sure you read, understand, and obey the manufacturer's instructions and safety rules, your employer's safety rules and worksite regulations, and all applicable governmental regulations. You also ought to make sure you have the appropriate tools, lifting equipment, and a suitable workshop. The overall condition of the equipment, maintenance, and inspection procedures are just as important as safe operating procedures and a positive attitude towards safety. All these procedures properly applied will significantly reduce the likelihood of an accident or equipment failure. Finally, feel free to pause this video at any time to make sure you're doing each step safely and correctly. First, set the unit up on fully extended outriggers in an area with plenty of clearance side to side, front to back, and overhead to fully operate the unit. Remove any covers over the control valve so you can observe the activator on each valve section move. Next, fully operate the unit using the manual controls to make sure all functions are operating properly. Then, locate the switch to activate the remotes. In some models, the master switch will need to be turned off. Start the remote transmitter and operate all functions of the unit to make sure they are operating properly. Use a notepad and pen to write down the percentage value of which function needs to be adjusted, in which direction, and which adjustments to make, minimum, maximum, or turtle. Now, prepare the remote transmitter for calibration. Shut off the unit and the remote transmitter. Turn the key to the on position of the chassis so the master switch sends power to the lift. Then locate the short tether cord that came with the remote and install it in between the remote transmitter and the receiver. While we're calibrating the unit, we'll remove the batteries from the remote transmitter. Next, turn and release the e-stop button to the upper position. Press the on button until the power LED light comes on solid, then start clicking the micro toggle quickly to the right until you hear a single beep noise. These last two steps will need to be accomplished within 5 seconds or you will need to start over. The lights on the receiver should read P000. Now that you have the remotes in calibration mode and have observed how the unit reacts with each remote function, you can start adjusting the controls that you have written down from earlier observations. The minimums will be the first function to adjust if needed on any given control in either paddle direction. This setting will determine how far off-center the function will activate that particular function. To get this to the setting, you must first press the power button twice and it should read P002 on the receiver. Each control function has a number value from 0 to 100 in each direction. 20 is a very good starting point for all minimums. If you would like to change the minimum value on any given paddle, slightly move the paddle off-center until you see the readings change on the receiver display. First, it will let you know which paddle is being pushed or pulled and in what direction. Then the value the function is set at. At this time, you will either click the micro toggle left to decrease the minimum value or to the right to increase the minimum value. Repeat this process on any other functions that need the minimum value changed. If all you needed to change was the minimum values on the remote, push the e-stop button in and it will save the value changes that you have made. Remove the tether cord from the receiver, restart the unit in normal remote control function, put the batteries back into the remote transmitter, and test the unit to make sure the changes you've made to the minimum values are what you needed. If more changes to the minimum settings need to be made, repeat steps 4 and 5. After resetting the values of the minimums, if the maximums must be changed also, just stay in calibration mode and continue by pressing the on button one more time and putting the receiver in P003 mode to change the maximum settings. The maximum settings will have a value between 0 to 100. Maximum settings are more dependent upon the unit. On the manlift products and D series, or digger derrick units, 65 is a good value to start with and fine-tune it from there. If you have a crane product, 30 ton, 40 ton, or 50 ton, 85 is a good value to start with and fine-tune it from there. If the maximums are the only changes to be made, repeat step number 4 and press the on button until the LED lights on the receiver reads P003. To change a value of any maximum setting of a function, you will fully stroke the control paddle of the desired function in the direction to be changed. The receiver will first light up which paddle you are using and in which direction you are moving it. And then it will show you what the value is set to. To change the value, you will toggle the micro toggle to the left to decrease the value, or lowering the maximum setting, and to the right to increase the value or raising the maximum setting. Once all necessary values have been changed, press the E-stop button in and all changes will be saved. Disconnect the tether cord, replace the batteries in the remote transmitter, and start the unit. Operate the unit in normal remote mode and check all functions. If the maximum settings are still off, reconnect the tether cord and proceed back to step 4 and reset the needed values until the unit operates correctly. The turtle mode on a manlift or crane product is a position on the remote transmitter that slows all boom movements to around half the speed of the rabbit mode or to the operator's preference. When in normal operating mode and in the rabbit speed, changing it to turtle mode is accomplished by clicking the micro switch to the left one time. Clicking the micro switch back to the right one time will put the remotes back into rabbit mode. To reset the turtle mode, you would shut the unit off and leave the master power on. Connect the tether cord from the remote transmitter to the receiver and remove the batteries from the remote transmitter. Then, follow step 4 to put the unit back into calibration mode and pressing the on button until P004 is displayed on the receiver screen. The turtle mode has values from 0 to 100, with a good starting point for high reach and digger units at 50, and cranes like 30 ton, 40 ton, and 50 ton starting at 38. To change the value or speed of the turtle mode, make sure the remote is in calibration mode and the display on the receiver reads P004. Move the desired function to the maximum position and the remote display will light up the paddle number along with the direction it is being pushed, and then it will show the value it is set to. While holding the paddle in the full maximum range, you can either click the micro toggle switch to the left, lowering the value, making it slower, or to the right, raising the value, making the movement faster. Once all turtle mode values have been changed, just press the E-stop button in and all values will be saved. Remove the tether cord, replace the batteries in the remote transmitter, and restart the unit in normal remote setup and test all turtle function speeds again. If there still needs to be more adjustments made to the turtle mode, shut the unit down and follow steps 4 and 7 to readjust. When calibrating the outputs of the remotes by changing the values of each function, minimums at P002, maximums at P003, and turtle at P004 will be the only modes that you will adjust. P001 and P005 through P015 will never be adjusted. Alright, once you have properly adjusted the proportionate controls on a Scanreco wireless remote control system, you're ready to get back to work. If you need more help, don't hesitate to reach out to one of our service techs at 531-772-0829. And make sure you check out our other technical support videos at elliotequip.com.